Welcome to part 14, and now it's time for us to find out why the hell does Wendy Oldbag constantly throws out photos. Well, it turns out she only keeps the photos that aren't she only keeps the photos that are suspicious looking and throw out the ones that aren't. It's rather irresponsible for a security guard. This is the first time Edgeworth heard about it, and this is the third time and the third witness that Edgeworth was pretty much kept in the dark about information that could have been used to defeat Phoenix Wright. Needless to say, everyone's tired of her. Pretty sure the audience is too, but, well, that's not going to be the case. So, here's the thing. You're going to have to press the statement where she says she throws out any photos that aren't suspicious. Oh, specifically the one that says she threw one photo out that day. That's the one that you need to pay the most attention to, because she says something about a fanboy. Well, fanboys can be violent, but in a case that pretty much is capital as murder, throwing out pictures of anyone that could have been at the scene of the crime is a terrible idea. So, she also lied and said nobody else could get in. But if it turns out that somebody did get in, remember the drain in the employee area? Well, it turns out there really was a kid that snuck in. I told you that drain would come into play, and it would pretty much bust every single bit of Oldbag's testimony up into a million pieces. Let's just put it to you like this. Oldbag again remembers what she wants to remember and leave out important details. By leaving out important details, she could get away with this in the court of Japan, or at least in this game, but in regular court, she would have been discredited a long time ago and possibly arrested for perjury. By the way, does this game even believe in perjury after all? Who am I kidding? It probably does, and I think it only does it once, and no, not I think, I know it only does it once. The last trial of the game. So, with that said, you can't really blame a second or third grade child for a murder that he didn't commit, but still, you have to take every single person in suspicion. I mean, it may not be moral or ethical, but you never know with these kids. Kids can do crazy things. So on that note, we take a 5-minute recess. And this will probably make or break your case. I wouldn't say make or break your case, more like make or you'll end up getting penalties until you actually make the right decision for the case. So on that note, the plan is simple. Seeing as how Oldbag's the one that's omitting information, we're going to have to use her as a patsy until we can get to the bottom of this for real. But for right now, Will Powers is freaking out because he may or may not be free for now. And he also let know that anybody could walk in and take the Steel Samurai costume because it was off in the corner and he wasn't able to watch it because he was asleep. And that's the thing that bugs me. He mentioned something about him being asleep and somebody could waltz in and take it. If he actually was there, he would have saw somebody waltz in. No, let me rephrase that. If he actually was the one to kill Will Powers, he more than likely would have remembered doing so. But more importantly, he would have more than likely grabbed his outfit first, which would have took him about 40 minutes to put on, and then went out to do it. But he didn't. So on that note, we still got a lot of ground to cover. Not really that much. We just have to put some of the blame on Oldbag, just so we could try to get another day to get to the bottom of who really is the murderer. Meanwhile, Edgeworth has had about enough. Look at that face, man. That is the face of a man that is sick and tired of this. Well, until he puts on that famous smirk, but still. And seeing as how the only other person that was in the studio was a boy who happened to sneak in, we're gonna have to try to find hard evidence to prove Will Powers is innocent. And the only thing we probably did was prove him guilty. So now, here's where things either are made or broken. Well, until you actually got the right decision. You have three choices. And as you notice, the court will not take kindly of blaming the innocent. So you have the producer assistants. Hold on, I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Hold on. And yeah, you will be penalized. How much, you may ask? Well, 2 bars of credibility. And the more you get penalized, as you can see there, it takes about 2 bars of credibility. So you got the assistant girl, the grade school, and the security lady. For the love of God, blame the security lady. You'll take 2 bars of credibility and if you keep blaming somebody else. And yeah, I think that's achievement in the OIS version, but not in the console version. So on that note, seeing as how the only person who know about the suit and know about the injury would be Oldbag and the victim, and obviously the defendant, it would make sense that she's the only one that could actually do it. And Oldbag is furious. Oh God, well, there goes the world. She finally called her Oldbag in her face, even though she's literally an Oldbag who's named Oldbag. And let's just be honest, folks. Oldbag really could have done it. Except there's just one problem. The Steel Samurai suit would not be her size. Although it would look like it from a red herring standpoint, but that's not the case. So, Phoenix pretty much threw Oldbag under the bus. And all it is just conjuncture. Literally conjuncture. There's just only one problem. Edgeworth actually agrees with him. I wouldn't say that's a problem, it's more along the lines of Edgeworth just doesn't care anymore. Look at that face, dude. Look at that face. Oh, goodness. Look at that face. That's the face of somebody who truly don't give a fuck. He has no objection. He wants Oldbag out of the courtroom immediately. It doesn't matter what the verdict is. So, it's time to press further. Giving Granny a break will give you a notch down in credibility. Seriously. So on that note, let's press her until she cracks. Surely she actually is hiding something. And that is the one thing people also forget. Will Powers lack a motive too? How would Will Powers actually kill someone and he has no motive to do so? Well, sometimes you don't need a motive, you just need incentive, but still. And she's also blaming the grade schooler too. And she's talking about how when she was his age, she could beat her father in 10 seconds. Wait, she used to be a... Wait, she used to pretend wrestle? Okay, I think that might be localization, but whatever the case. The proof is something that we need to pull out. And that would be the spear. Or the keycard, actually. Yes, we can either use the spear or the keycard. Doesn't matter which one.
Take that!
Because, see, here's the thing. The boy will be too heavy to pick up the spear. And the only way that the boy could actually get into Studio 1 is a keycard. There's only 3 people with one. One of which is the defendant who's broken, or who has a sprained ankle. Other one's dead, so that just rules out Oldbag. So with that said, Oldbag is definitely under the bus. Well, I can repeat it as much as I can, but everybody is sick and tired of Oldbag shit. So, everybody's just ignoring Oldbag like a freaking, like a bad habit. But in the anime, Oldbag got so pissed that she let out a Sonic Sindel type scream and knocked everybody off of their behinds. But Oldbag is about to use that selective memory of hers once again. And the fact that she was also told not to talk about this. Which, of course, put Edgeworth nervously in the hot seat because, remember the last case? But in actuality, the people she's referring to is someone else. The staff at Global Studios themselves want everybody to be hush-hush about the murder. And try to cover it up to where somebody had to take the fall. Meaning one thing, one of those producers, or one of those bigwigs, happened to be the one that did it. And if they did, that's pretty BS that they went there and put Will Powers in the hot seat like that. And the fact that that's crucial information, that should speak volumes. But she must have signed an NDA. That probably would explain why Oldbag went there and did what she did. So, it's time for us to cross-examine Oldbag one last time. We're gonna have to press some... I think we're gonna have to press, one of these statements. And I think this would be the one to press. And it also, would press the last statement as well. It's the second and the last statement. So if you press that one, you'll find out that it is actually the bigwig executives that work at Global Studios. Which would be the director and the producer. So, it seems that they would not have been able to do this without a director, but for some reason they did. And Oldbag was pretty much wondering if people would have figured it out by now. And turns out the producer and the director were not at the studio at the time because they were eating lunch with everybody else in Studio 2. And if you remember, folks, Studio 2 had a tree in front of it, so we really couldn't investigate it. There is that thing. So, that important bit of information definitely flew over a lot of people's heads. So, let's take a break, and we're gonna end this trial right here. Continuing on means the judge will just end up taking your credibility until you take a break. So just take a break. So now that we know that there's others in the studio, it's high time we actually get the director and the producer. We need some answers here. And for one, we also need to hold on because there's no way in hell we can declare Will Powers guilty. So that means persecution is going to have to gather more information of Wendy Oldbag and also the bigwigs that happen to be a global studio. In the meantime, that gives us more leeway to try to at least get to the bottom of this case. And that's all we needed to do. But damn that we discredited Oldbag, at least. Seriously, I couldn't stop laughing, and I apologize for that, but it's funny, though. It's funny to see Oldbag on the trial, not only worrying the nerves of Edgeworth, but also worrying the nerves of everybody else. So on that note, Will Powers for now may be all smiles. We just have to make sure that he's truly in the clear, so he's not free yet. And sadly, we still have 2 more days to find out. And obviously, Will Powers knows that it's not her. Because even she couldn't have done it. Now, I want you to remember something, ladies and gentlemen. When it came down to, many clients, Phoenix had to believe in them. Justice for All will turn that upside down and inside out. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun playing that game, that's for sure. But nonetheless, Will Powers is out of the hot seat for now. But we're gonna have to investigate the studio once more to find out who really did kill Jack Hammer. This is RFman 985. I'll see you guys in part 15 when we start day 3 to find out who did it. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.